Next performer is Lynn, everyone.
I'm so proud of you.
So I don't buy Girl Scout cookies because they're all made by the Girl Scouts of China. And the money just goes straight to the fucking Girl Scouts in North Korea. And Barack Obama refuses to comment. And that's a problem. When I was in 6th grade, instead of selling Girl Scout cookies, I learned about sex. I learned about sex at school, and I went to a very progressive middle school. So it was more of a sex ed policy sort of course. And so they showed us a number of videos. One of them was, an abstinence-only video. And it was a little funky, and I'll tell you what happened. So it's a man and a woman. They're about to get married, and the husband, takes out this nice box of shoes, and he says, "Look at these shoes. I've been saving them all of my life for you. They're clean, and I wanted to give them to someone special. And the shoes are his virginity." And the wife is like, "Oh, well, I've also got some shoes." And so she takes out a box of shoes, except her shoes have been worn pretty heavily. There's a lot of mud on them, and the guy gets really mad at her, and he calls off the whole wedding because she hadn't saved her shoes for him. But that's not really how it would have happened. What would have happened is they would have gotten married, and on their wedding night, they would have decided to go for a run. And so they put on their shoes, and the guy, never having worn shoes before, would not know how to tie them. So the woman would be like, "Look, you have to tie your shoes or you're going to get me pregnant." This is basic running. So finally, his shoes are tied, they're ready to go for their run, and they're off. So the guy is just running as fast as he can. He's never been running before. He's super excited. And after like 2 minutes, he's cramping up. He's done. And so the woman's like, "Oh yeah, like I was done too. That was a really good run." And then later when he's at work, she goes for a run by herself. And this continues for a number of months. And then the woman learns that the next door neighbor is quite an accomplished runner. And so she starts going for runs with him, and she gets athlete's foot. So have sex before marriage, you'll get athlete's foot. I'd like to stop with the metaphors about sex and just talk about sex. Sex is really, really dangerous. It's like the only activity that you can do that will result in pregnancy, which is like the worst thing ever. And honestly, that's like enough of a disincentive that for most things I wouldn't do it if there was a risk of pregnancy. Like I would go to El Triunfo, I would sleep, and that's really about it. Because that's horrifying. Like that's like forever. Well, I mean, not you could, but that's worse than jail. I would say, like a lot worse. I mean, your body will heal, like if you break your leg or something, but a baby is for a very long time. My brother broke his leg back when I was in 11th grade. And I'm glad he didn't get pregnant. But I learned a lot. Over those few months. So he broke his leg when he slipped on a hat and twisted it. He has osteoporosis. Okay. And so they put him on these really, really high-powered pain meds, and they made him into a different person. He was super, super nice. My mom would call me over, and she would be like, "Look, Zach, your brother has something he wants to say to you." And I'd go over to him like I was like at his deathbed, and he would say, "Zach, I've never told you this, but I love you, and I want to spend more time with you now." And I was like, oh, Charlie, that's great. You know, I'm sure that's you under there saying these words, not the drugs. And, you know, for a while this continued, but eventually they had to take him off the drugs. And that was no fun, because he just became like this weird combination between like a pregnant woman and an alarm clock. Like, whenever I would walk into the house or try to sleep, there would just be screaming. One time he spat in my food. Whenever he had to use the bathroom, my parents would support him as he sort of half squatted over the toilet, and the door would always be left open. That was not a step that they included because there were so many other important things to do. So that was a fun experience. And what I really learned from it is that I don't ever want to go through withdrawal. So I made the promise to my family that I am never going to quit drinking. All right, guys, that's my set. Thank you very much.